I'm going to cast the circle here. So if you have candles, feel free to light the candles to the north, to the earth. Your body is your own. You are right-sized. You cannot be tarnished by another's touch. What you did to survive in your body was wise and necessary. Being able to leave your body is a magical skill. Deep breaths will bring you back when you are ready. You are allowed to protect your home. Seek nourishment. You deserve to take up space. Create a nest of safety. To the west, to the water. Your heart is your own. It's okay to be broken. Your messiness is sacred. Your emotional labor is magic. Your tears are setting you free. You deserve to be loved with caring actions and sweet words. Find people who will listen and believe. You deserve loving witnesses who want to see you heal. You deserve to be held. It's normal to miss the people who hurt you. To the south, to the fire. Your warmth is your own. You choose whose hands are held at your hearth. Your rage is sacred. Your pain is fuel for your passion. Your anger lights the way. Go ahead, burn bridges. Set your cage ablaze. Your rage is a gift to keep you safe. You deserve protection. You are not responsible for the comfort of others. To the east, to the air. You deserve to be believed. The people who believe you will make themselves known. The people who don't deserve you. It matters how your story is told and who tells it. It's normal to be confused about the details. What others believe does not define your story. Your story is a force of nature. You're allowed to hold a truth that is painful to someone else. You deserve to define yourself on your terms. You are allowed to say goodbye to people who don't believe you. Arriving in your body, into the relational field and the communal field, all simultaneously. And so, per usual, starting with the teachings, feel free to arrive in whatever shape is most nurturing for you. From the teachings, we'll move into the yin yoga practice. From the yin yoga practice into the ritual. For our final full moon of spring, the final climax of quite a season for me personally, and I think also collectively. And so as this lunation climaxes, a celebration of all of the growth of this season, what for you is blooming and blossoming and flowering, what parts of you are growing, reaching toward the light, Breathing it in, drinking it in. Calling in this spring season and the initial seasonal intentions of really playing within anger and anger bottled up, and all the offshoots of that, all the off-ramping and offloading we do. For most of us in socially conditioned in feminine bodies, the upbringing of being a nice girl, a good girl, where we disown our anger, our jealousy, and we replace it with a mask of niceness.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
And where that virtue
Hare Rama,
blinds us, where the mask is niceness and the offshoots are passive aggression and vicarious backstage manipulation and gossip and hostility and sarcasm. All the offshoots that feel like relationship betrayal. And transmuting that anger or transforming it into qualities of nonviolence and directness and contentment and detachment and trust. And that boundaries is, yes, just as much as space, the space at which you can love, right, yourself and others simultaneously. And part of boundaries is calling in what you want, what you need, what you desire. The boundaries that leave space for that.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
And so this final full moon of spring, really holding close the, like, what life was birthed, what life maybe forcefully shot its way through the casing of the seed or the shell. That sometimes that process of birthing can feel a little bit violent. Like there needs to be a force or a push for the life to burst through that hard shell, that hard seed, and grow toward the light.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And so our practice today is a celebration of that process that we have been really intentionally engaged in together.
Hare Krishna, Hare
So let's go ahead and meet in a child's pose, allowing our body to take this shape of a seed.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Knees can be wide or together. If you have any pillow or support for your belly, go ahead, release down. Belly on thighs, in between thighs, on a pillow.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Steady the breath to steady the mind. Keep breathing till I feel that light shine. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Steady the breath to steady the mind. Keep breathing till I feel that light shine. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Everything in life revolves around the one, sort of like the planets in our solar system. Take a deep breath, fill up my lungs, draw the mind back toward the central sun. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Inhale, exhale to release the stress. Breathe in, I let it seep in through my skin, absorbed in the force as it begins to spin. My mind, turn it back toward the one, a 360-degree revolution. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Inhale, exhale to release the stress. Deep breath. In this modern day age of misinformation,
An invitation to spin the left palm up, thread it through the right arm, coming down onto the left ear.
need to ease the stress of the situation. So I focus on my breath, steady concentration. Steady the breath to steady the mind. Keep breathing till I feel that light shine. Breathe deep. Deep breath. Steady the breath to steady the mind. Take a 5-count breath till I feel that light shine. Keep breathing till I feel that light shine. Stay blessed, y'all. Deep breath. Loca samasta sugino bevantu. Live life happy and free. Live life just how you wanna. Eliminate the drama. Loca samasta sugino bevantu. Live life happy
We'll
and
switch
free.
sides.
Live life just how you wanna. Eliminate the drama.
Loca summer stop, living from my heart. Take a second, send someone some love. Yeah, happy and peaceful. Always trying to keep it happy and peaceful. Happy and free. My man Scotty said to be the change that you wanna see. I care about all beings. I only stay true. Like the wind, I'm going through the motions. Meditate with me.
Loca samasta sugino bevantu. Live life happy and free. Live life just how you wanna. Eliminate the drama. Loca samasta sugino bevantu. Live life happy and free.
Unwinding, reaching your right arm forward.
Eliminate the drama.
The next invitation would be to bring palms together overhead and a walking fingertips. I'm on the pinky edges of my hands, and I'll bring the palms together. Let my head rest down, forehead down. Bending the elbows, letting the fingertips point toward the sky, making a little head tent.
Live life happy and free. Live life just how you wanna. Eliminate the drama. Loca sama sta sugino babantu. Live life happy and free. Live life just how you wanna. Eliminate the drama.
As you exhale, empty the breath, release the hands down. Maybe one last moment of deepening, inching your fingertips further up the mat as you press into the palms. Shift your sit bones back closer toward your heels. Take a deep inhale. Let the breath be deeply expansive through the rib cage, the side ribs. As you exhale, open up the mouth, side out, as if you could fog up a mirror. Inhale, navel to spine. Let the hands walk back toward the body, slowly stacking the spine. Head comes last. Coming to a position of seated on your heels. As you come toward your heels, let your shoulders lift up toward the ears, and then circle them back down and around. Maybe taking a few of these shoulder circles. Inhale up to the ears, exhale back, down and around. Finding a little bit of fluid movement into the shoulders, the neck. Toggle the jaw from side to side, releasing any tension in the face, the neck, the throat. And then we'll let an inhale bring us up to our knees. I'm going to curl my 10 toes under. All right. Releasing any pops, cracks of the feet, the ankles, bringing hands now toward the low back. Elbows sort of hug back in space. And just pausing here in a little gentle supported camel. As you come here, let's send our gaze forward, slightly tuck the chin toward the chest, not forceful in any way, but rather creating this Jalandhara Bandha, which is a throat hold, sort of keeping this energy that we are starting to circulate in the core of our body. And so that Jalandhara Bandha throat hold will help to anchor and ground that energy out of the mind down into the body. So taking again, then setting into the breath. Allowing in-breath to stretch open the front body through the navel, the deep belly, the solar plexus. Inhale, straighten that spine, release the tops of the feet, give them again some gentle pats, anchoring and grounding, right? Finding the earth. And then let's notice if we can shake hands out. Again, finding some movement to release some of what we're like conjuring into the holds. And then let's notice if we could start by reaching our hands out shoulder height, spin the palm up, and then find a little lift of the heart here. So imagining thighs, if there was like a wall here, getting really aligned in that way. And then not avoiding any crunching into the spine anywhere, low back, upper back, and instead really finding alignment, a rooting, and then a rising up simultaneously. And then from that foundation, maybe a slight arch of the upper back, maybe as if you were like a high jumper about to arch over that high jump bar. And then just again steadying here, find the breath, let it fill you up, filling up the front line of your body. Anywhere that feels tight or constricted, pockets of tension through the solar plexus, the navel, down to the deep belly. On your next exhale, we'll release the hands to the mat under the shoulders toward a tabletop, and then melt the head, arch the back into a cat pose. Again, toggle the jaw. You could gently shake the head, release out any tension. As we're clearing out pockets of tension, right? Creating space for more fluidity, more flow, more freedom and movement. And then let's begin to walk our hands a little bit forward, melt our pelvis down, let it sink kind of into this lazy up dog. If this is too much of a pinching on your low back, bend your elbows, lower your elbows down under your shoulders. But if you could stay in this lazy version of an up dog, like the thighs right above my knees are on the earth, my pubic bone is anchored to the earth, and then I'm taking my navel, my belly button, and I'm drawing it back toward my spine and up my spine, really anchoring now this Muladhara lock, this Mula Bandha, right? So that as our navel draws back toward the spine and up the spine, you'll feel this connection between navel and pelvic floor. And so notice as we engage Mula Bandha, does the musculature of your butt, that ass, and the pelvic floor, does it clench? And so avoiding that pushing right into the clench, right? And instead finding this gentle Mula Bandha lock, where as we inhale, now we can breathe to that deep belly, let it fill like a balloon. As we exhale and empty out the nose, trace the breath out with the belly button. Up the spine, back toward the spine. Let the navel help to press out the last bit of out breath. Empty, empty, empty. 3 more breaths in this way. Inhale to the deep belly. Let it expand like a balloon. As you exhale and empty, gently engage Mula Bandha. And as you come to the completion of that out breath and you empty, notice a pause. Space between breath. No stress, no strain. Inhale fills the deep belly. Expand it like a balloon. Open up into the deepest depths of your roots. Exhale, empty, 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 empty. On your next inhale, we'll bend the elbows slowly, slowly, bringing the body into full prostration. Forehead comes down. If it's accessible in your shoulders, reach the arms forward, spin the palms up. Bringing your front body now to touch the earth. Helping to discharge and ground all the energy that we are calling back into ourselves, that we're starting to circulate, digest, metabolize, and really offering ourselves this energy back into this earth, into this very symbiotic relationship. letting each of our moves be strategic, guided by the wisdom that we stir up within. And then that this life aligns into our path from that, which requires deep, 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 deep trust in yourself, your process. Clearing out the gunk so that you clearly see that part of yourself that shines bright. So that from this space, you're much more easily able to see that place in another. Hands are going to slide back under the shoulders. Press yourself back to our child's pose, back to our seed. Pausing in this child's pose. Letting the center of your brow rest on the earth. Even within today's practice, noticing the peaks and valleys, each sequence a cycle in itself, a beginning, a middle, and ending, a climax, twists and turns along the way. Noticing the ways in which your experience in your body is shifting and morphing since we arrived in circle together. And then from here, doing a little different than our normal yin class, I'm going to weave in an actual moving meditation here, a pranayama with movement, building on that initial cycle. And really, like I said, holding and celebrating the spring season. And so it will look like this, where we begin in our child's pose, right? We would take a round of breath. This first one we'll just kind of do together. We would inhale here, we would exhale. And then on your next inhale, we would rise ourselves up, right? You could slide your hands back toward your knees, sit on the heels, lift up. You could let that all be really fluid, but we're coming into this supported camel. That would be on our in-breath. You could have hands support your low back. You could let them open up like wide Ys. There's no right or wrong. And you might change even as we go through the movement. Okay, so anyways, this was our in-breath. On our out-breath, we come to our cat pose. So our hands come down under our shoulders. We melt the head. We lift the back of the heart. Drop the tail. Let's take a round of inhale here in the cat, breathing into the back line of the body. And then as we exhale, I'm going to walk my hands a little bit forward, melt my pelvis toward this lazy up dog. Knees are on the ground, pubic bone finds the ground. Take an inhale here. Now we fill up the front line of the body. And then as we exhale, bend our elbows, release the body down into full prostration. Hands can reach forward, palms can spin up. Let your forehead kiss the earth. In India, the motherlands of these practices, there are little divots in the earth from the prayers, foreheads down, offering to the wisdom of the Earth Mother. And then we'll press back, hands under shoulders, to our child's pose, back into our seed. And so we'll take a pause here, take a few rounds of breath. settling into that seed. And again, of all the seeds that we've planted throughout the last several months, right? 3 moon cycles of spring season, which seeds started to flourish? Which seeds did not break out of their shell? Letting our bodies embody this process of seeding life, of blossoming up. So we'll go through 4 of these. From our child's pose, inhale, exhale. Inhale, rise up toward a camel pose. Let yourself, right, your body opens up, blossoms up, staying rooted. As you exhale, hands to the earth, round the back, cat pose, lifting the back of the heart. Take an inhale here. Exhale, melt into that lazy up dog. Dropping the pelvis. Inhale, fill the front line of the body. Exhale, forehead down, palms reach forward and up. Take a full round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Hands under shoulders. Inhale, press back, child's pose. Exhale, empty the breath in your child's pose. 3 more in this way. Inhale, camel. Rise up, open up, blossom. Exhale, cat. Exhale, lazy up dog. Inhale. Exhale, full prostration. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale, empty the breath. Inhale, camel, blossom. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, just be. Exhale, up dog. Inhale. Exhale, full prostration. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale, empty the breath. Inhale, camel. Exhale, cat. Inhale, just be. Exhale, up dog. Inhale. Exhale, full prostration. Inhale, child's pose. Exhale, empty the breath. Pausing here. Inviting your breath to balance out. Churning itself into a 4 count inhale. A pause. A 4 count exhale. A pause. And then we'll inhale, rise up. Take a little free movement. Shake out hands, feet, whatever you need. Before coming into what's next. So I'll give you a few different invitations. You can choose what works best. The first would be to come seated, legs wide. I like to have a bend in my knee when I do this, but that's all based upon your body. Okay, you could also put some blankets underneath the sit bones, would help ease on this, or blocks underneath the knees. Okay. Option 2, invitation 2, is to come to the feet. And then bringing feet wider than hips, right? All 10 toes sort of point straight ahead, and coming into just this wide leg forward fold. If you are seated on your sit bones, you would come into your forward fold down the middle. There's no right or wrong. Some of it will depend on what is happening in your body through your inner leg lines, the backs of the legs. If you have a brain in any way similar to mine, the benefit of coming to the feet is that we can really have an experience of an inversion. And so allowing our brain to be lower than our heart and our pelvis, right? Kind of any racing thoughts, task mastering, the things that our brain can be really good at, and that's actually its job, but that can start to really affect our mood, our presence, all those things. And so from a wide leg, if you're on your feet, I'm going to take a support and see if I can't rest the top of my skull. And then you can decide how much of a bend in your knees, back to the yin principles of a workable edge, the gift of time, and noting that like your body may or may not open. And if it does, you asking permission, receiving consent from your body to go deeper. And if not, loving your body right exactly where it is, as it is.
Have the strength to look. There's no more pretending. You can't measure in this room. Just walk through the doorway. Just follow the tune. I see a robe of patches. It is perfectly arranged. Here, there is no worry. Letting go of shame. We sit in pure absence without expectation. Pure absence without expectation. Let us share, don't be scared. Come on in, everything will be alright. Coming true for something new. Hey, what's to lose? All we gotta do is try. Let us share, don't be scared. Come on in, everything will be alright. Coming true for something new. Hey, what's to lose? All we gotta do is try. Let us share.
Both hands can walk toward the right leg.
Everything will be alright. Coming true for something new. Hey, what's to lose?
If you're on your feet, maybe just sliding a hand toward the sacrum, noticing if there's a lot of imbalance there, bending knees as much as you might need to find a little more balance, stability in the pelvis, the sacrum area here. And then I have my left arm reaching toward my right ankle, my right toes. Toggle your jaw. Release any tension in the throat, the neck. The space where we disperse energy through our voice. All the words we swallowed, didn't say, weren't unable to say, as well as all of the things we did that landed with truth. More seeds that plant change. As you exhale, walk both hands over to the left. And if you're on your sit bones, same. Letting hand find pelvis, sacral area if you're on your feet, and just balance. You could bend knees slightly as you need to find your workable edge.
Do you remember when you looked in the water and saw your reflection, the embers? They drew out a map and they showed you direction, your sender. It's far in the east where your heart is at peace when you enter. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder. My love is just a reminder, find your center.
On your next inhale, coming back towards center. Again, if you're on your seat, walk your hands forward. If you're on your feet, we'll walk our hands back toward the heel edge. Weight of your body can come on toward the balls of the feet, almost like you could slip little pieces of paper under each of the heels. Lifting and spreading your 10 toes, spreading from the big toe ball of the foot toward the pinky toe ball of the foot.
My love is just a reminder. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder.
If you're on your feet, letting this whole experience flip your perspective. All the ways in which we get tunnel vision, focused on what we can, only like what we can see or what we want to see or what we're trying super duper hard to get to. Letting this inversion symbolically let us see with a different perspective.
My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder. My love is just a reminder, find your center. My love is just a reminder.
And then we'll take a really slow journey wherever you are, seated or feeted, easing your spine towards straight. If you're seated, bend your knees as you make your way there. Find some counter movement. If you're feeted, I'm going to turn my toes out, my heels in. And then I'm going to bend my knees, sink my hips toward this goddess pose. So you'll see I'm trying to bring my heels right under my knees, and then my forearms come right to these inner knees. So again, now moving from outer legs back into this inner leg line. You could add some little shimmies and sways. Super powerful into this goddess, right? If you're feeling like you want a little more power, I'm going to walk my hands up my thighs. My hips. You'll notice I'm even letting my shoulders here shrug up toward my ears, just temporarily. Finding this drop as I sink my pelvis. My hands are helping kind of press my knees open as my knees are gently squeezing into my hands. So it's quite active. If you're on your seat, feel free to, again, counter move in any way. Maybe a butterfly stretch might be kind of similar to what we're doing here. And then notice here, I'm going to come up again, drop my shoulders here, let them release. Bring my hands back to my thighs. And then let's notice here, I'm going to melt my right shoulder toward the middle, gaze back over my left. Inhale, come forward, shine your heart forward. Exhale, switch sides. Sink, sink, sink. 2 more on each side. Feel this heat, feel this burn. We're conjuring energy, right? Pulling it into our legs, our foundation. In yoga, this tapas is the heat of resistance. It's the heat of change. And then slowly, slowly releasing out. Straighten legs. Let's take a little bit of counter movement. We'll take about a minute here. Let your body move in any way that feels really good for you. Especially when we're doing this sort of more energy, if you took the offerings or the options that are more heat generating, more energy building, using, right, some movement that's really fluid to help release some of what we are building. And then our final invitations here, we will twist. And so invitation 1 is to be on your back. Knees can be together, feet can be together. Both knees can fall toward the left. Arms can open out. Gaze could look toward the right. Invitation 2, left leg can go long. Right knee can come across. Maybe a little bit of a different sensation in your twist. And then just settling in. Letting everything that we circulated throughout our core now be wrung out, really intentionally, really deeply twisted and wrung out. That liver gallbladder combination, so much filtering of our blood and our bile and our digestion. The liver does the labor of truly filtering our blood, our bloodlines. All the things that have been passed epigenetically, intergenerationally. As well as foods, beverages, alcohol. Slowly unwind. Whichever invitation you took on that side, let's just keep it the same as we switch sides. So if that's both legs together, knees to the right, gaze to the left. Or if we let our right leg stretch long, our left knee come across, gaze to the left. Wringing yourself out. And then in your own time, slowly unwinding. Any last counter movement before we come to rest? There's no rush, there's no hurry. And when you're ready, we would meet in our Shavasana or our corpse pose. The invitation is to come a little bit bigger in your corpse, feet as wide as the mat, maybe a slightly wider arms, get really nice and wide outside your body, almost like you take the shape of a star. As you come into this star shape, let your body empty several breaths out the mouth, sighing out any remaining tension. And then slowly transitioning your awareness into your heart space. So that you can be a witness. observing your body breathe. And as this really inherent, innate pattern ebbs and flows, you witness it as your heart bobs on the movement of your lungs. As you witness your body breathing, notice the breath begin to move with so much ease. So much ease that you begin to hardly notice the breath at all. And then begin to scan your body for any nuance of sensation. Tingles, flutters, pulsations, shoots, heat, cold. That life force that is now coursing through, circulating through. And then begin to invite that feeling, those feelings of sensation to spread throughout every cell in your body. Every molecule, every atom. Until you begin to feel as if you're a field of radiant sensation. Visualize a protective circle of golden sparkles around yourself, spiraling out through your room, your neighborhood, your town, the forests, the fields, the mountains, the waters. As the sparkles move, the creatures take notice and lift their heads. Rats, raccoons, horses, hawks, whales, coyotes, mice, bees, ants. Something's happening. They're listening. See your circle spiral out into space, surrounding Earth and her blanket of clouds with the sparkling golden circle of protection. Visualize yourself standing shoulder to shoulder in a rowdy crowd around the White House. It's night, but the area is brightly lit, illumined by the light of a full moon. There are chants and signs and cheers, optimistic, not angry. The crowd hushes because the mother of all spiders drops down from the sky onto the top of the White House. She has made a giant web, and we're holding on to the web structure. She sits right down on the White House, and as the patriarch comes running out, Mother Spider scoops him up and winds him in a ball of her silk. And the crowd cheers. Then she captures his cronies and does it again, over and over, binding and rolling them and hanging them in the web, saving them for later. We're holding onto the web, and we can feel the vibrations of the captures, wriggling and trying to escape. Mother Spider does a little vaudeville-like tap dance, takes a bow, and gathers up the bound patriarch and his crony bundles and flings them up into the darkness, then climbs up her thread after them. All eyes follow her until she disappears. We turn and look at each other, ecstatic, introducing ourselves, chatting, familiar, and realize that we have been holding hands, humans and creatures alike. Hand in paw, claw in flipper, fin in leaves, roots in teeth. We are the web. We are the structure. Power to the planet. As you come back to your body, feel the power circling through you, sparkling. We can do this. Feel free to remain as long as you want or need. If you feel moved to write, draw, purge, slowly begin the process of reawakening. Drinking in, inhale.
That's when we're free.
Hands can run across the fingertips.
I have seen
Wiggle the toes.
when we are small. That's when we're at our best. So before
Letting your writings be moved by what just moved through you.
that we love you
The blossoming, the blooming,
as our own.
the growing toward the light.
Before you go, we want you to know that we love you as our own. It seems like so many days that we live, all of this pain, all this confusion will get you down. But I say no, no, no. Don't let it change you. Just free out your smile, lift up your heart and fly. Before you go, we want you to know that we love you as our own. Before you go, we want you to know that we love you.
Thanks for being here.